Morning, man. Hebrews 13 today. We're going to wrap up the book of Hebrews. Going to be pretty quick here because, one, I've got to bust out of here and go get something done early this morning, but also it's just kind of a quick wrap up chapter going through everything we've learned and just kind of encouraging you guys as we finish Hebrews and all that we've learned and applying it. And as we kind of have talked about, chapters 11, 12, and 13 are the practical application of everything we saw in chapters 1 through 10 or learning 1 through 10. And chapter 11 was faith, right? Do you believe what you say you believe? Are you going to act in belief or disbelief? Are you going to obey or not obey? And chapter 12 was enduring in that, right? Continuing that race, running that race to the end. And every day is a new day that you have to kind of continue to endure in that faith. Because some days it's really easy and some days it's not. And some days you just have a hold of your sin nature, and some days your flesh is after you. And so you have to endure through that. So what is Hebrews 13 calling us to? It's essentially the practical application is ordering your life around these things. So like if you believe God and His Word, in faith, you're going to order your life around that belief. Again, this is kind of calling back to what we talked about a couple days ago. Do you truly believe that what you say you believe is real? Because if you do, you're going to change the way you do things. And that's what this chapter is doing. It's laying out all these things, basically saying, because you have this faith, chapter 11, and because you're going to endure in this, you need to order your life around these things. And so I'm not going to state everything in here. I might hit a few of them because, guys, honestly, this is just a video, and you're likely going to forget whatever I say, or at least if I gave you a list, you'd forget it the second you shut your phone off. But the one word I want to leave you with, and this is the one word, take this out of chapter 13 if you get anything. Chapter 11 is faith. Chapter 12 is endure. Chapter 13 is submit. Submission, man. We are to submit to this in faith. If we really believe, we are to endure and we are to submit to the things that are in this book. All right, this is His Word. And we are to order our lives around the things in this Word if we believe it. And as we do that, we submit to that, all of a sudden we're going to be walking in faith. And we're going to be coming out of the desert, because now we are walking in obedience, and we're going to be entering into that promised land, and we're going to be experiencing that newness of life. And there was one thing in the commentary I want to hit real quick, because it is very, very true. And some of you may be new into, like, your walk is just now rededicated to the Lord, and you're wanting to walk into this promised land. And right now you might be on fire, because all of a sudden it's wakening up in you, and you're enjoying this springtime of new growth. Okay. The commentary, John Corson talks about how some of us, well, not some of us, but all of us, we go through seasons of our walk with the Lord. And sometimes you're in a springtime season where there's just so much new growth and you're feasting on it and you're just so excited. And then you break into summer and there's just these warm days with the Lord where it's just you and Him and everything's so fresh and real and great. And then you move into fall, where the fall winds start to kind of knock the leaves off of the trees and it starts to shake you up a little bit. And then you hit winter and you can have these cold, icy winds where it's just cold and you feel alone, and it's just there's not a lot of life there. And he's talking kind of about, we go in and out of these seasons. Now, this isn't sitting in the desert. You're still pursuing the Lord. You are still walking in obedience, but you just have these moments where you just don't feel the joy of it. Maybe you don't feel that newness or that warmth of the springtime and summer. Maybe you feel like you're in a winter. And I feel like that. And honestly, guys, there's times where I've been with you guys, and partially even in this video series, where I just feel a little wintry, but I'm still going to obey, because I know that if I endure in this and submit to what He's called me to, in that obedience, guess what's right around the corner? Springtime. Springtime again, new growth, where He's going to start revealing new things to me, and He and I are going to go deeper, and then we'll go enjoy that summertime again. Okay, guys, so I just want to hit that real quick. I didn't have that in my notes, but it is something that I read in the commentary. I thought, I worry that sometimes men think, I am obeying, I still feel nothing. Sometimes it's maybe because you're just being shaken up, and you are walking, but maybe there's something there that needs to be shaken off the tree. Maybe you need to go to the Mount Sinai and have that shaken so that you can then come back to Mount Zion and enjoy the newness of life in Christ. Just throwing that out there. But let's get back to submission, okay? Ordering your life around these things, right, that he goes through in chapter 13. It looks like you submitting to God and His Word over your lives. And then he just hits all these things, like classic one that I've mentioned so many times, marriage. He comes right out of the gate and says, you know, marriage, here's what it looks like to submit yourself and to have faith in marriage. You have marriage troubles, submit to His Word. And here he says, don't defile the marriage bed and hold marriage in honor. Are you doing that? And it kind of like Jesus when he's asked by the Pharisees, which is the greatest commandment, or I don't know, maybe that was the people, and he says it's to love the Lord your God and love your neighbor as yourself, right? He basically encapsulates all 10 commandments in two. Right here, guys, are you holding the marriage bed in honor? Are you honoring that covenant above all else? And are you making sure you're not defiling your marriage bed mentally and physically? Are you lusting? Are you maybe you're physically defiling it, right? Or not holding in honor. Are you lifting your wife up? Are you looking at that as something that you need to be lifting up and honoring and treasuring and feeding and pouring into? Okay, those two things, that's it. That'll deal with marriage. Submit yourself to that, endure in it, obey it. There you go, guys. And your marriage is going to be a much happier marriage because it's going to be starting to be a marriage that's walking in obedience and in the promised land, the newness of life that you can have in that marriage. Okay, same thing next. We talk about hospitality, about entertaining angels. And this is something that I personally struggle with because I have kind of a cynical nature about me. I'm a watcher. Like I watch people more than I like just talk. I'll actually just sit there and just watch people, watch their mannerisms, watch how they act. My father's always said something to me. I can't hear what you're saying because your actions speak so loudly. And so this is actually kind of pulling out of something we'll read soon as we get into James, is to not be hearers of the word, but to be doers. And so with that, I watch and I see if people are being doers or just hearers, and I kind of get this cynical nature. But in that, I have to be careful. Like maybe I've lost the ability or the chance to entertain an angel, or maybe I was entertaining an angel and I was cynical about it. Like how much have I lost out on that by not having that brotherly love because I'm not looking for the best in people, but I kind of have a cynical nature. So I need to always keep a check on that. How about discontentment? Are you ordering your life around being content in the Lord? Or do you have a love of money or a love of things? Maybe your thing is you got to keep up with the Joneses. You got to have the best thing. Or maybe it's pride. You need everybody to look at you to say, wow, look at all he has. Right? And that's going to lead to discontentment on this. Like, guys, sometimes we need to just look out our window and go, this is enough. Okay? There are times where I don't love not having a house. Okay, I don't. I never went into an RV thinking this is the life I really want for myself. A lot of people have done that. A lot of you guys I've met on the road have done that. For me, it was a calling, and sometimes I'm tired of being in this small space, parked on somebody else's land, right? But I have to preach to myself and go, you know what? This is enough. If this is what you want of me, it's enough. We have to do that, man. We have to order our lives around this. We have to submit to this. Then he goes into imitate the faith of your teachers. Do you not know what to do right now? Because maybe you don't read the word or you haven't been in the word. Well, guess what? Order your life around those who are imitating the Lord and are running after the Lord. Well, imitate us. I mean, we're running the race. We're trying to be an example. So follow us until you get your legs under you. Okay? Order your life around that. Submit to that. Are you struggling with feeling close to the Lord? Like this is where he gets then, he's talking about the old temple and the old sacrifice. Have you gone back to the desert because you've tried to institute an old system, an old way of doing things, rather than just walking in belief, faith, chapter 11, and enduring in that, chapter 12? Instead, you're like, I'm kind of tired of enduring this. I think I'm going to right turn. Don't really feel like being obedient this season, but I'll still show up to church because I want people to see me there. Maybe I'll go to Bible study so that people think I'm doing it. Do you see how quickly you can get back to that old temple worship? And that's what he's talking about here when he's talking about this sacrifice on the altar. Jesus was thrown out of the city gates like the animal carcasses. Go outside the gate and go be like Jesus, right? Don't just go do this stuff because it's ritual and people, especially in the South, just expect it. Do it because you actually want that newness of life and you want to chase after the Lord, okay? So submit yourself to that. Praise. Then he talks about offering a sacrifice of praise. This is really hard for a lot of you men and a lot of men out there. We don't want to praise. We don't want to lift our hands. You know, the Bible tells you, men, to lift your hands in prayer. It also tells you to lift your hands in worship. Do you do it or do you just refuse? And why? Why do you refuse? If the Bible tells you to do it, why not trust it? Why not submit yourself to it? I used to be a pretty closed off worshiper. I would say, I grew up in, all of us grew up in kind of praise and worship. So I think, I grew up with hymnals, but and then we kind of came into praise and worship in the 90s and early 2000s. But I was always a little closed off. And then I remember being at Red Hills and going, you know what, God, you tell me to do this. I'm just going to do it. And I started raising my hands. And I started raising my hands in prayer. And all of a sudden, stuff just started to unlock because I was obeying. And I'm not saying this is like a magic genie. If you do this, you get this. But I'm saying if you just start to, as he calls you individually to do things, and you feel the Holy Spirit say, do this, and you just step into that, you're going to go into a deeper faith room with the Lord. You just are. Because you're trusting him. And as you trust him, guess what? He's in that river saying, come on, Christian, come deeper. Come deeper. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. It might be hard. You might have to endure through some things. You might have to step out in faith and submit to that. But as you do, you're going to be deeper in the river with me. Okay, guys, it's really, really awesome stuff. And then the last thing he ends with, he just kind of says, I want to encourage you, brothers, to bear with this word of exhortation. I'll put that in kind of English. I want you to endure in this encouragement. And you might look at the book of Hebrews and go, encouraging? I don't think so. But it is, guys. It's calling you up to this higher way. Okay, and so I just want to encourage you in that too, guys. Endure in it. Go out, like we've learned all of this great thing about Jesus is more. Just put your anchor on that. Don't let it drift. Don't go over the falls. Don't get to a point where you can't step into maturity because your ears are shut off and your eyes are closed. And then in 7, 8, and 9, holy cow, I just blanked on 7, 8, and 9. You're going back to that temple worship, and you're doing the shadow worship, right? In chapter 10, it's calling you out of that and saying there's a better way. And then chapter 11, 12, and 13, right, we have the practical application of walking in faith, enduring in that, and now submitting ourselves to it. Okay, guys, this is an encouragement because it's calling you to a newness of life. I want that for each of you. I love you. I want to pray that over you. And I just ask that, God, that you just take all of Hebrews chapters 1 through 13 and all these men who have walked through it. I just ask, Lord, that you just encourage them in it, that you help them step in faith and endure in that and submit our lives to it, that we might just grow deeper in our walks with you. Man, I want you to come out of the desert, go into the promised land, and just be encouraged in that. And if you struggle with any part of it, guess what? We're all here in this together. Reach out. If you don't know what to do, imitate me. I kind of know a little bit of what to do. There's guys in this group that know what to do that you might be closer with. Follow us. That's fine. I don't mind being an example to you and being held accountable to that. But guess what? Paul even says, follow me as I follow the Lord. Guys, do it. Follow me as I'm following the Lord and come with me into the promised land. Leave the desert behind. Leave the ritual. Leave the church behind. I'm not saying leave church, but I'm saying leave just the ritual of going to church just to show up. Leave that behind and start actually walking in obedience. Having that faith, enduring in it, and submitting your lives to it, guys. It will make all the difference. Everything will change. Your marriage will change. Your job will change. Your finances will change. Your relationships with those around you will change. Your walk with the Lord will explode. You will enter into seasons of springtime and growth. And everything's going to be so different that you're going to look back and go, I can't go back to that desert. I'm not going back to Egypt and that carnality. I've tasted the promised land. I've tasted the milk and honey. I'm feasting on meat. I'm done. I am undone, and I am just running after the Lord for the rest of my life because I know I walked in faith. I submitted myself to that, and now I'm going to endure in it because it is the better way. Okay, guys, love you. Praying for each of you. We're moving into James next, and excited to get into that with you guys. Those videos will probably be a lot shorter. Hebrews was so foundational. I just needed you guys to really hold this, to understand it, and hopefully you'll never look at the book of Hebrews the same again. Hopefully it will always be something that's saying, I'm calling you out of the desert to the promised land, calling you out of just church calling you out of ritual, and I'm calling you into the new temple, the new sacrifice, which is Jesus, the better one. Pay much closer attention to that man and put your anchor on that, and everything will be okay. Just keep enduring that. All right, love you guys. Bye.